Alright, welcome. Let's get this stream started. Doesn't look like there's anyone but me in the chat right now, but anyone watching the VOD, welcome to the second stream on the Game Archives. My name's Gordon, my friends call me Jordy, and we are going to be re-entering the world of Hollow Knight. If you can figure out how to make that transition smoother, it would be fantastic. So, welcome everyone. We're just getting ourselves set back up here. We're currently in Greenpath. Our last time here on the stream, we introduced everyone to the world of Hallownest. Our protagonist, not the Hollow Knight, known as simply the Knight, Little Ghost, the Vessel, anything that anyone calls it, really. But today, I was thinking about doing a little bit of lore search and cleanup in Greenpath, and then moving along with the main story. So, quick rundown for anyone who's just joining us. We are in an advanced and varied world of bugs, known as Hallownest. It's a place that once was of low mind, low intelligence of the things living here. But, with the arrival of the being known as the Pale King, a great worm who took on meager shell as a bug, not unlike many of the denizens we see of this world, the Pale King rose all those of this land into sentience, gave sapience, society, thought to the living beings, the bugs, the beasts, even some plants that made this place home. However, after long periods of rise and fall... Oh, hang on. Do we have a lore tablet here? Yeah, we'll get to this in just a sec. But yeah, after giving the living things of this place sentience, there was a rise and great height of civilization with things even as far as tram stations, public transportation, cities, currency, economies. There came something much older and much more dangerous than the Pale King. Something I don't believe I revealed last stream, but another higher being, if you remember that term, something that refers to these near godlike entities that inhabit Hallownest and the surrounding areas. Another higher being known as the Radiance made its presence known. The Radiance took the form of an infection, this sickly orange air that infects, steals the minds, and eventually inhabits and puppets the living things of this world. That's the explanation for really any enemy you see. With the greater and greater rise in infection and an inability to take care of it, eventually the Pale King sealed it within a chosen champion, known as the Hollow Knight. But as for right now, we're in an area not untouched by the infection, but created by a different higher being known as Un. This is Greenpath, a place dreamed into existence by the mind of the great and mighty Un, as we see here. The greater mind once dreamed of Leaf and cast these caverns so. In every bush and every vine, the mind of Un reveals itself to us. This is a tablet I don't know if we got last time around. But that's the plan for the first part of this stream. We've beaten Hornet, who's the main boss of this area, but... Gotta get that rust off. We've beaten Hornet, who's the main boss of this area, but there's still more to see, even with our current abilities. There's not... See, we can't do quite as much without other of our trusty Metroidvania suite of capabilities, but there's a lot to see, including a stag station. Yeah, alright, perfect. Update that map. Yeah, here we see, like I was saying before, there's this interesting mix in Hallownest and Greenpath architecture. See here, you can barely see the outside of that King's Crest, the Hallownest seal, representing that this is an enclave of the big air quotes more advanced bugs of this area that allows safe travel. Last time when we were here, we saw their corpses of Hallownest bugs littering along the grounds, lost bivouacs and tents. So I would imagine the introduction of a stag station is very welcome for a place like this. And here's our buddy the last stag. My, this place is much changed since I last saw it. The greenery grows so wild, the stations like to be consumed by it. Yeah, that, again, we're getting a lot of interesting insight from the last stag, who was around in the days of High Hallownest. Eager to travel the stagways? Just hop up on that platform, give me the signal, and we'll soon be on our way. Alright. Let's leave our buddy here just for now. Let's see, and also, my lighting isn't as good this time around because I don't have my camera on. So I will need to look a little bit more closely at my notes. Yes, the big thing that happened last time, I should reiterate on. After we defeated Hornet, not only did we see another dead vessel, the same thing that we are, on the ground, when we interacted with it, we had a strange and otherworldly encounter. 3 great spiritual beings, the things that I have so far called the Dreamers, that share their... oh, there he is. That share their masks with the symbols that we see on the Temple of the Black Egg up in the Forgotten Crossroads, appeared around us in their full forms for the first time. And something I forgot to mention is that if you look at the particle effects in the air when that happens, and the dialogue box that appears above them, you see these symbols, these little wheel-like symbols. Those are going to become really important. Those represent dreams, essentially. They're, like, I forget the name off the top of my head, but they are these little markers that show... Norm, get off the counter. I have to keep an eye on my cat, one sec. These little markers that show the nature of another world, a dream world beyond this one. Alright. Ah, and here's another major landmark, the Lake of Un. Let's pop into our building here and talk to a friend. Oh, hello there. Seems we've both tread far from the path. I can hardly believe those dusty old highways led to such a lush and lively place. This building suggests some form of worship, though its idol has clearly been long forgotten. Doubles equally well for a moment's respite. I saw a strange fellow out there. He seemed quite taken by the lake. I planned to offer greetings, though I figured I'd first tend my nail on chance our meeting goes poorly. Oh, hang on, skipped his dialogue. I'd wager up there it would take you far. Down here, however, talking about your nail, I suspect you'll soon meet dangers surface world can't match. Anything else? Ah, he loves to talk. Hallownest is perfect for vigilant explorers like us, so tense and thrilling. In this place, you're either alert or you're dead. So what he's talking about behind us is that little broken statue, and this is the first example we see of Un as a being. And if you look at those antennae and that shape, we start to realize that Un might be some sort of slug. In fact, people who've played the game before may just know that Un is some kind of slug. Pardon. But also something I want to point out here. Quirrell is right, this is a place of worship, this little chapel. But look inside that statuary of Un there. See those little swirls? Let's look at something here in the menu. You can't quite see it here on the soul catcher. I can get another another trinket that looks more like it in the future. But if you look very, very closely, in fact, let me turn up my brightness a bit. If you look very closely at the bottom there, those same swirls are inside things that are associated with soul, and even with the ancestral mound and the snail shamans. That's a connection I noticed just my last time through the game, but I believe that is a physical representation, an artistic license taken with the idea of soul, which would make sense. Soul being magic in this game, Un being able to simply dream this entire place into existence. It would stand to reason that it would be represented with these really powerful open soul things. Also possibly representing it both being, I think it might be a her, actually. We'll say her for now. Her both being a powerful being of magic, but also one split between the spiritual and material worlds, like a lot of other higher beings we'll see. But out here, we see something really important. These are one of the Moss Guardians, I believe they're called. Let me check our codex. Oh yeah, we fought the Vengelfly King. Forgot. Mosskin. Ooh, we got extra lore on the Obel. Not much. But does it realize what a nuisance it is, drifting around, spilling its noxious juices? Noxious juices. Say that 5 times fast. Spilling its noxious juices everywhere it goes. If you see any, make sure to kill them. So the kind of lore we tend to get from the Hunter isn't necessarily illuminating, but it does give us this surface-level, individual opinion of the things going on around Hallownest, and the Hunter's been here for a while. Golka, Moss Charger, yeah, Moss Knights. Protector of Greenpath. So these guys, like I said last time, they give me that sort of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight kind of feeling, which if you've read that story, a lot of the stuff about the Green Knight plays on that separation between, what am I thinking of? Between, again, big air quotes, civilization and nature, and the lines kind of drawn between. This image is so evocative of that Green Knight, and if you guys want a full reading of the story, I guess I could stream that, but that image is evocative because it's these trappings and symbology that we associate with structured culture, the knightly, courtly culture of Arthurian legend, and in the case of this game, the knights and warriors of Hallownest, but overlaid with these more druidic, naturalistic representations. And we see here in that very somber moment, and in fact, before I move on, there is a pivotal scene towards the end of The Green Knight, both in the excellent and very trippy recent movie and in the original text, where Sir Gawain, at the end of his journey, ends up at a chapel in the woods. But it's gone to great pains to describe that it's not like a cathedral, it's not a church, it's this very humble, almost plinth of rocks that speaks to a less organized, less modern form of religion. It's got this, I think, sort of mystical air to it, which we see here, going right outside. Something I mentioned earlier, I think likely due to the Radiance infection, the Moss Knights and all creatures of Greenpath have been trying to reach out and hear the voice of Un, which seems to be greatly diminished for some reason or another. Again, I imagine it's the Radiance. And there is something so evocative about this guy right here. Because you can see, like, it's the normal character model, it's the guys we were fighting in an area earlier, but it's so silent and so reflective. Outside this forgotten chapel in the middle of the wilds, at the Lake of Un, which you saw when we came in here, this is a holy place, just listening. And I think, intentional or not, those callbacks to Arthurian legend and the excellent character building of this place. And also, if you listen, no music, just the sounds of Greenpath. I think this guy will fight us if we get too close, but I'm going to leave him to listen and hope that Un speaks. All right, a lot of environmental lore to draw on there. Let's see where we're headed. Now, I have cheated. I've taken some practice and gone through this area before to take my notes. But I don't remember everything perfectly, so we might be doing a little bit of futzing around. Oh, like that. Also, huge fan of the dash, always. I don't know about y'all, but I'm one of those people that can't stand being below full health. Let's see. Yeah, we head down past the stag station. Excuse me, excuse me. But yeah, if anyone's curious, the reason for the camera not being on this week, I didn't love the angle and the lighting I had last time around. I think between the angle of the camera and the odd redness around my eyes. I looked perhaps a bit under the influence when I was not. I don't want to misrepresent. But yeah, all that to say, I'm gonna find a camera angle to make sure that it doesn't look like I'm high next time around. Can I say that on Twitch? I don't know. There is no illicit substance use on this stream, I promise. Oh, watch out for the fool catchers there. They hide them really well. Come on. Yeah. Also, notice around this area as we go deeper, not only does the foliage get thicker, but you start to see more of these, I guess you could call them standing stone, these spiral stones, which, again, maybe very tenuously, but draws my mind back to the snail shamans. How, we'll see more of it later, but the spiral is really important to the snails. Yep, almost got me. But, once again, why does a plant have $8 on it? Oh, $9, I'm sorry. But yeah, I think there is a representational connection between spirals and soul. Like focus, soul, magic. Or at least in its more natural form. And again, that would kind of rock with the more druidic inspirations here. Oh, here is our first encounter with thorns. Now, take a quick look at these thorns here. They... Like, the art design, I think, really explains it well. They feel like they're not supposed to be here. First of all, they communicate that, yes, they are dangerous, you will take damage if you touch them. But that shade of orange on the thorns is, by this point in the game, supposed to click something in your mind, I think. It's telling you, hey, radiance, hey, infection, hey, bad. Which I think both in a lore sense is showing that not only are the living animals... Oh, hello? Yeah, see? Not only are the living animals of Hallownest and the land surrounding succumbing to the infection, so are the plants. You can see when we hit it, we get a little infection particle effect. Check my map, need to go left. There is a personal favorite charm of mine around here somewhere. Oh. Dangerous, don't touch. See, I was showing you. Almost went just straight to harm this guy. Now these guys, again, another thing to notice about the Radiance is that it's an infection that does in fact make more living things aggressive and dangerous, but we can clearly tell this thing is infected. See, we get the particle effects off of it, but aside from just being spiky, this thing doesn't really seem to mean us any harm. Actually, I don't think we can... No, we can't get across here yet. So let's just add it to the journal. Oh, fight music. I don't know how we managed to take that much damage from an enemy that does not attack you. Yep, simple flying creature protected by a spiky shell. I like how it spells spiky. Another classic but always beloved game move, or tablet, is how well the standing score mixes into the battle music. I think it's very seamless. All the scores in this game are absolutely fantastic. Let's see. From moss and leaf our life is drawn. While it grows upon the path we shall never wilt. That one's interesting to me. It shows almost a sense of defiance, and we're going to see that more as we get further into the game, that, like I said last stream, the Pale King, his dominion was not complete. You know, as much as Pale King propaganda would like to tell you, the world of Hallownest was not completely united. It wasn't one kingdom. It wasn't eternal. It wasn't perfect. And here we see not only the influence of an entire other higher being, another basically god, but that sense that, like, hey, we don't want you here. And so we can sort of see that uncomfortable juxtaposition of Hallownest architecture, you know, the metal railings, the like poles and podiums and stuff, in a place that really seems to be rejecting it. Oh, hang on. Yeah, no one in the chat, but if you're on the VOD, I'll be right back. I think my cat's doing something stupid. Alright. Crisis averted. Have we taken damage? I just made some dark chocolate cookies that are... Oh, yeah, we're taking damage. That are cooling on the counter, so... Alright. Cheap shot. So I did not want Norm to get his paws on those. He usually doesn't really care much about chocolate, but he's also stupid, so... let's see, that takes me back up to a bench. I went left, I couldn't go that way. Alright, back down, then to the right. There's some geo up there. It'll be fine. I do want to make sure every possible nook and cranny is explored, but we may miss a couple crannies along the way. Yeah, what's up here? Also something to do is check the corners. Oh, notice here we're starting to see a few more mushrooms on the ground. Now that's going to become a lot more common in just a second. Ah, and here is the way to a favorite charm of mine. Pardon. That really tests if you got your dash down right. Nice. Thorns of Agony. Now, you might say that if you're a pro gamer, you're amazing at this game, you shouldn't get hit, but if you are a filthy face tanker like me, the Thorns of Agony lashes back, sometimes in 2 hits, against enemies that hit you directly. And early game, I find it very useful. Especially if, you know, perhaps you're talking and playing and maybe getting thrashed around a little bit because of it. Yeah, the dash just feels so freeing. I played this game a bunch, and every time you restart the game, it feels like I'm, like, you know, running with my legs tied for the first bit. Matter of fact, I don't know, but maybe there's some places we can get to with the dash we haven't been to yet in the Forgotten Crossroads. I don't have any in my notes offhand. No, I don't like that. Does that just lead back around? Okay, yeah, that leads us to a little money. That's fine. And I come to the question a lot, and I haven't seen too many people talking about it. What is Geo? Like, it's, you know, this pretty universal currency. Most folks around here take it. Oh, it just connects back up here. But what is it? Like, most things seem to have it on them. You can find it in rocks, hence, you know, Geo as a name. But I guess it's just, like, naturally occurring currency that everyone just kind of decided they were going to go with? I don't know. Okay, where's that bench? Let's fill out the map a little bit. There's something so satisfying about this game, filling out the map. Yeah, let's pop down by the Stone Sanctuary, take a quick peek, and then head along to Fog Canyon. That'll be our next area. Yeah, the map of this game, I may be talking out of my ass here, but I believe Team Cherry at one point confirmed that the map of this game was supposed to be somewhat like an anthill. Because as you go in, we're going to see it expand more and more, but you see this sort of built over on top of itself, almost nonsensical but very constructed design. It's a place you're made to get lost in. We're going to be seeing a lot of that when we hit Deep Nest. Deep Nest is fun. Alright. Another soul totem. Again, notice... Oh man, everyone I want to show you doesn't quite show it. But see that base around it, like, does not match either the Mosskin or Hallownest architecture. Again, things that were put here a very long time ago. Oh, got my little jump. Alright, I need you to get out of the way because I'm planning to jump here. Come back. Alright. Gotcha. I hate seeing this thing dead. It's too cute for that. Ugh. Yeah, I don't think I can get here with just the dash. One more try. Nope. Alright. Off we go. If you look at this shifting perspective in the background here, notice all these spiral carved rocks. This is a really, really important motif here. Again, not completely... Ooh, I keep doing that because I'm not paying attention. Not completely sure why, but I think it may represent... Hello. May represent, like, focus or soul, like we were talking about earlier. And the word focus comes up a lot. It's a term that isn't explained very often, but is talked about pretty often. Whoop. Alright, that's it. Yeah, notes, again, just for people watching the VOD right now, but for any future chatters, I will always be happy to hear questions. I want to have a conversation here, because I love connecting with people who are like-minded lore freaks like myself. But for now, I don't mind keeping it quiet. Grab a bench here. Nice, nice, nice. Alright, now where are we headed? Let's peek our head over to the left, see if we find anything, and then... Hey. Yep, we've been here before. Wait, we can get this way now. Yes, alright, cool. We're here for another mini-boss. The Massive Moss Charger. I actually missed this guy while I was taking my notes, so we might... Oh dear, oh god. Encounter something new. Yeah, you don't hold this guy off unless you have a fast slash. Well, that shows I haven't practiced. I'm getting my ass beat on this guy. Alright, that's the trick. Or not. Fight out of the Massive Moss Charger. There we go. Face it down. We see? Just a bunch of these little guys who we don't have to kill. Yeah, not too much lore to this guy. It's a lot like the Gruzmother. It's just a bunch of little mosskin that have formed into a large charger. Again, let's take a quick look, yeah, at the lore for this guy. Yep, family of creatures that have learned to bulk up with moss and live as one. There is strength in numbers, yes, but these creatures never had much strength to begin with. Cut through their trickery. Usually anything new on Hornet? Skill Protector of Hallownest Ruins. Wields a needle and a thread. Let's swap over my notes here. Yep. Yeah, from here my notes just hop over to Fog Canyon, so we are more than welcome to just enjoy the scenery for a little bit while I plunge some nooks and crannies. Ooh. That guy, I remember him. Yeah, we are way off the map right now. Which means, hey, always something I appreciate is when a game teases you with a little bit of treasure. And we got a grub. Just pogo on those guys and we're good to go. Yeah. I absolutely adore the voice acting for this game. I don't know if we're going to be able to make that. Yeah, no. We'll need to get the Mantis Claw. Oh! And hopefully not die getting out of here. But spoilers, the Mantis Claw isn't too far away. Just a bit of a detour. I'm so good at this game, I promise. Alright, let's let this guy get a little far afield and then start our shenanigans. It's all in the timing. Can I go back around? No, I cannot. Alright. Yeah, that's the thing about Metroidvanias for me, is that I think a sign of a good one, which this is, I would argue, one of the best, which is why I'm talking about it for multiple hours on end, oh man, is that the areas that feel very punishing eventually open up wide up to you. Alright, don't need to bounce on that guy. Just gonna throw a bunch of Geo down to that acid as a donation. Very cool, very fun. Yeah, right now the game feels very oppressive, you know. We've got a weak broken nail, we've got one movement ability. Get some more on those guys. So, we feel limited, but playing through this game in the later stages, you know, having all your abilities maxed out, nail, your proper, like, charm build all put together, it's such a free feeling, especially coming back and backtracking through old areas, which, you know, the original, like, Super Metroid, Castlevania games, those really don't even need you. Really highlighted. So, let's go to another quick sub-area. Just hear the music stop. The Fog Canyon. Now, this is a place we're going to come to way later, but notice these guys right here, these jellyfish. Again, pretty blatant Metroid reference and homage to the games that came before. Ah. But we have a familiar face here. I do not want to hit the big guys. What are these called? Got some mask flies. Yeah. Ouma, I believe is how you pronounce it. Smallest jelly form, passive and unaware, but pulsing with a dangerous electric charge. Oh, right. Yeah, we can't get the map until way, way later. I don't know how Cornifer got back there, but we are not able to pass that void barrier. Although, this is a pretty good time to point out something kind of unusual here. So, this is a substance we haven't seen before. It obviously immediately repels us. Seems to be flowing very violently upwards between these two very clearly artificial nodes, I guess we'd call them. And there's a few things about them that belie their presence here. Now, notice right around them we see those spikes. I would argue that that is an immediate giveaway for the Pale King. Something of his work has been done here. And I can confirm that a little further in that this is using void. I almost said void technology, but that's not quite the right word. Void magic, void craft. Void is a really, really important subject. Anyone who has played this game thoroughly, I'm sure their ears perked up when I said void. But yeah, we see these jet black balls being held in by what is more clearly a piece of Hallownest technology. The spikes, the sort of gilded bluish gray outer layer. So this tells us a couple things. First of all, that there are forces afoot, and those little unnatural black balls tell us that void's at play too. Tell us that there are stronger forces afoot here. There are unusual magics being employed, and that the Pale King personally did not want bugs getting through here. So, even the explosions that will rocket towards your head don't do anything. So what are these things called? Umas, yeah. Passive outer being, protecting an aggressive, explosive core. Those cores deal 2 damage when they hit you. 2 masks. But yeah, something to let you guys in on as we're going through here is that these Oma and Uma, however you refer to them, I believe they are artificial beings. What we're looking at here is the work of Monomon the Teacher. Can I get through this? Now, Monomon is obviously an extremely important character. One that we saw from the very beginning of the game. They were the one, if you remember, who wrote the elegy for Hallownest. The poem recited to the Pale King. And this whole area, I mean, obviously we don't really know Monomon yet, but this is, wrong button, her vibe to a T. Let's see, get that, dodge. This whole place, like, this mysterious, kind of bubbly, electric, unusual kind of thing. Monomon really embodies the whole mad scientist kind of vibe. I don't know about mad, she's pretty serene, actually, but definitely... Oh, lifeblood. Oh, hang on, come here. Thank you. Yeah, life seeds. Small scuttling seed filled with lifeblood, which can be extracted and consumed for its healthful properties. Again, we don't really know why life seeds and lifeblood were considered taboo, but it's referenced a couple times. And look around here, something I find so strange. One of the first hallmarks you see of lifeblood being around, of a cocoon being nearby, are these weird butterfly plants, very much the same color blue as the life seeds that we see, and these roots that grow off of them that hold onto the cocoons. But these seem to be, like, living, motile things growing out of plants. There's not a lot concrete I can really... Oh, sorry, fellas. I can really say about it. But it does, in a way, speak to these strange, transmutative, life-giving power that you see with lifeblood. If I were to theorize a bit, I would imagine... Again, we've seen the Pale King as sort of a jealous god. A being that wants his power to be absolute and unquestioned. So it would stand to reason that something that creates and transmutes life would be threatening to the thing that considers himself to have given life to this place. Let's see what item we have here. Oh, Hallownest seal. We'll get a little information on these later. Yeah, and we can see the Hallownest seals are appropriately held by these two dead bugs, who we can tell are of slightly higher standing than the ones we've been seeing in the Forgotten Crossroads and Greenpath. See the little hairdo, or I don't know if that's hair. The little do back here, the cloak, the brooch. We're going to be seeing more of these guys, but this is the first indication we are approaching High Hallownest. I don't know what they were doing out here, past a platforming puzzle. Let's see if we can... Oh god. That's what the lifeblood's for, folks. Is there anything this way? Really, really good sound design. I love these distant bug noises. Oh, hey. Ow. Flying moss fly. A winged weakling. I believe we are near Queen's Gardens. We're going a little off script here. I didn't go this way in my research. But I don't believe we can get to this area just yet, so we're just sticking our head in for the time being. Yeah. Lever over there. Again, signs of meddling here. Although, actually, I'd like to direct your attention to something. See those little particles that come off the void when I bump into it? I want you to keep those in mind while I try and do something. If I can platform even slightly okay. Let's find an enemy. Yeah, this whole area is inaccessible with our current abilities. Alright. I'm going to take a little damage intentionally. You see that? There's a lot that happens in the damage animation, so it might be easy to miss, but those exact same particles, that void, came off of us. Now, again, first-time players or viewers wouldn't really know the significance of void, but again, if you've played before, you know exactly what that means. But all I'll say for right now is that we, as our player character, this voiceless, little masked thing that we're playing... I'm about to die in this area. Voiceless little masked thing we're playing as... Again, look at those. I did that intentionally, see? Those exact same particle effects are coming off of us. We are deeply connected to the void. Which is... How much do I want to reveal here? Very fundamental to the workings of this world. God. There we go. Need a bench soon. Yeah, the Fog Canyon, at least for now, is a very short area. It's sort of just transitional out of Greenpath. Whoop, 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 whoop. If I can just yoink a little soul off you guys, if you don't mind. Don't want to hit the big guys. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. Let's just stick our heads in here. I know it doesn't go anywhere, but... Again, notice this area being important later shows that there are bits of actual built architecture here. But unless we can swim through acid, there's nothing we can do here. Great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alright. Alright, and we're at the bottom of Fog Canyon. And here we get to meet another friendly face. Millibel. Hello there, dearie. I was about to close up shop and run until you came along. I provide banking service if you're interested. Losing one's geo is a terrible thing, and it's so much more likely if you carry it about on yourself. My vault is much more secure. In all my time as a banker, I've never lost a single geo. Here we see that geo is both singular and plural. Maybe you'd consider opening an account? Yeah, let's open an account with Millibel. She's trustworthy. We like her. You're a smart one. Next time some dreadful beastie gets the best of you, you'll be glad to know that your geo is safe within my vault. We can trust Millibel. We should totally trust Millibel. Now let's do some banking. Yeah, you know what? Here's 450 geo for now. Nice little bit of withdrawal later. Goodbye then. Stay safe. Geo, kalala. Again, I like the little design of her banker's stall here. Here you can see, I mentioned last stream that Hallownest uses this very specific logographic language. And we can see that the symbols for geo just look like geo. Presumably those symbols on the left and right would show, bank, place to keep. In fact, there's a whole effort right now, I believe, in the Hollow Knight subreddit primarily, that's trying to decode the written language of Hallownest to tell us a little bit more. And conlanging and conlang decoding is really, really cool to me. Being able to work backwards and decode games like this. Also, a quick thing, notice again how the entrance forms that Hallownest seal. Entirely universal, more geo symbols here. Beautiful little light fixture. And notice we're seeing more complex Lumafly light fixtures around here as we're approaching a more cosmopolitan area. What's the purpose of this? Why is this here? But yeah, I remember I watched... It was a video by Ristic Studies, which if you're into Magic the Gathering, absolutely watch Ristic Studies. That was all about Phyrexia as a faction within that game. And the fact that the Phyrexians, the villains for 30-odd years of Magic the Gathering history, had their own consistent language. There's a whole section, I think the video is called Phyrexia as Hell, very literally. There's this whole section talking to a community decoder, a conlanger, who figured out the code for Phyrexian and even how some of the words are pronounced. Like, in the video, they take the word swamp, which you see a lot in Magic is pronounced kashkum, with some sounds in it that a human voice can't create. But, going in on the process of, how do you determine what something is using sort of Rosetta Stones of connection? What certain cards say in English, so you can see the code of Phyrexian. And working backwards into a language like that, I think, is really, really cool. It's not something I'm terribly skilled in. I'm not much of a linguist, but one thing I can point out, look at all these signs here. Sorry, I hate this noise, but we're going to look. We see signs for Geo up here, and notice that sort of rounded bottom, hook top shape. We can see it both left and right. That is pretty clearly the symbol for a stag, because we are in a Grand Central Stag Station, the Queen Stations. And here's a buddy. Isn't this something? I'd not expected to discover so huge a stag station after that foggy descent. The bugs of Hallownest must have been an impressive lot, building such grand structures so far into these wilds. Seems the dangerous creatures about haven't made their way in here. It's the perfect place for a quick rest. Can you imagine this place in its time? Hordes of bugs traveling about the kingdom, stag bells ringing, the station bustling with activity and life. Now, only our like even know it exists. That's a special thing, I suppose, to cherish these sites, even in their decay. Love Quarrel, he's so cool. But yeah, this is a little moment of respite here. No enemies, just a few corpses lying around. It's unclear as to why there are no enemies here. It's a pretty open area, pretty easy to get to, but there are some, at least semi-friendly faces. Love her voice. Willow. Oh, come to search of treats, have you? I've chanced upon a unique little fungus growing right above us. I found it only in this station, and the taste is just divine. This place must have once been quite the hub, built at the border between two lands. That misty drop to one side and those bulbous growths another. Neither place seems particularly welcoming, so while my little treats last, I think I'll stay right here. Yeah, Willow, there's not too much to say about her. She's just a funky little bug. She's a giraffe beetle, which are nasty predators if you know about them in the wild. But yeah, we'll see a few of those a little bit later with the Grim Troop. And I've seen some people, if you know who the Grim Troop is, you know, and if not, say it with me, we will get to it later. Some people have connected her to the Grim Troop because there are giraffe beetles there as well. And we see this red tent here possibly being hers that may also connect her there. I'm not so sure on that theory, and we'll talk more on it a little later. But something to think about. Also, if you don't know who they are, it kind of goes without saying the Grim Troop isn't the most savory lot, shall we say. Don't have a map for this area. Toll machine, symbol of Sag, same as usual. We don't have a ton of money because of Millibell, but I might pop up to the surface and see if I can get anything from Sly. No, you know what? I'm saving up for that Lumafly lantern. I'll just... Well, let's see what he has to say. We're here for lore. You've opened several stag stations now, haven't you? I'm thankful for the opportunity to once more travel through the kingdom. As I visit more places, I feel my memories returning to me, like the stagways of my mind are running once more. Continue to open the stations, and you'll have my deepest gratitude. Make sure we're all saved. Yeah, the last stag is such an interesting character to me, he's this sort of relic of the past who's a lot like Quirrell, actually, rediscovering this place with you. I hate the mask fragment noise. I mean, I'm glad for it, I'm glad it's there, but hang on. So here's the fungal wastes. We'll be back in just a sec. I want to... No, you go on the bottom to get that. We need the mantis claw to get the mask. So let's get away from that noise. So here we have, say it with me, yet another civilization that was not technically a part of Hallownest. This is the Fungal Wastes, home to the tribe of mushrooms, I believe they're called. They may also be called the Fungal Tribe. I need to write these down. Well, let me check my notes. Let's see here. Yeah, well, I just call them the mushrooms in my notes. They're a civilization that is, guess what, older than Hallownest and the Pale King's reign. And seemingly didn't awaken with the Pale King. They've always just sort of been on their own thing. I can't get past here. But yeah, they are, as I said before, awakened not plant life, but fungal life. So the mushrooms of the fungal waste are really, really interesting. In that the ones that we see like up and moving around with like eyes and faces and stuff are only one part of the puzzle. So you can see they're not that different from the mushrooms that are floating around here, just the ones attached to the ground. But the mushrooms here, even before the Pale King, before the... before the Radiance came in, I don't need to hurt that guy, it's fine. Before the Radiance, came in and started doing its thing, the mushrooms here already shared a, we're going to call it a psychic link between one another. Excuse me. Jesus. Ow. Cool. Yeah, they're all part of one spore hive mind. There's actually a charm I can get. Don't have the map yet. A charm I can get to help suss out what's going on around here. And help us with a little bit of lore, but that'll come in just a moment. But yeah, they shared their own hive mind, essentially. They were able to connect psychically with one another. And when the Pale King came around, the way the story goes, at least, is that they kind of all decided as a group, as the mushrooms do, that the Pale King's sense of prescience was important. And I believe... Oh, hang on. Trambopoline. Hey, Cornifer. Ah, my short friend, you've caught me at the perfect time. I'm just about finished charting these noxious caverns. Very territorial type make their homes within this area. I'd suggest avoiding them where possible. Guess where we're going? Further below, some strange thin creatures gave me quite a scare. They seemed like an intelligent bunch. In my youth, I'd have braved these caves, but I fear my matured physique wouldn't be able to outrun them were they to turn violent. Get a map. There's a potent odor all about these caverns, and far worse for me, I suspect. My trunk is quite sensitive, whereas you don't seem to possess a scent organ of any kind. Or a mouth. Is it that you cannot smell at all? Yeah, there's a real stink vibe in here. It's always good to see my guy. But yeah, to what I was saying earlier, the mushrooms welcome the prescience of the Pale King. There's some lore tablets we'll see a little later that talk about that. But... Alright, got it. Got so caught up in that I forgot I was streaming. So they warily accepted the rule of Hallownest. And again, this is sort of, at least for me, I'm not very statesmanly minded, but it seems very much just a vanity thing for the Pale King. It's like, oh yeah, we accept your rule. What are these mushrooms paying taxes? Are they what's the system of government here? But I think it speaks to something much deeper, is that the Pale King, being a higher being this unusual, more godlike entity, doesn't necessarily have goals that are very material. You know, like I said, taxes, landowning. It's more ephemeral. It's leadership. It's ownership. It's these sort of conceptual things that we're talking about. But also, while we're here, I'd like to point out some new architecture. Everyone sound off the new architecture bell. So, notice here we have this shell-like door, the sort of strapped together lever back there with that mask face in the back of it, with these brick-like masonry around here that are sort of built into the mushrooms. This is our second, actually we saw one up top, this is our second indication of the Mantis tribe. Now the Mantis tribe is super, super interesting, and once we get a little closer to their territory, I'll have more to say on them. And we can't get up here, so we're going around. Should really be hunting for more charms. Always love to hear Cornifer. But yeah, again, it's one of those subtle things that even if you're not looking for it, the game tells you, hey, notice how the architecture is different. Someone else is in charge around here. Yeah, I don't need it. If you listen to the music around... Fantastic. If you listen to the music around here, it sounds like whimsical, but kind of like trepidatious. We're a little unsure about where we're going. But, okay, hang on. Back through this. Is there a way further up? Yeah, there is. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, you don't want to get hit by those. Also, I really like that the geodeposits are inside of little stony mushrooms. Again, blocked off by more Mantis machinery. Hang on. Who's ready to meet the best possible enemy in the game? I envy anyone who has not played this game before. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. These guys are actually kind of a hassle. The Shroomal Warriors. Oh god, I love them. I have such a keen memory of the first time I entered this area, and I just... the idiot smile that crossed my face when I saw one of these guys for the first time. I could not fight them for the life of me there for a while, but just the noise, the very plain dot-eyed face. I don't need to kill these guys, but I'm doing it for the lore. I'm doing this for you. I love them. I love them so much. Yeah, as a matter of fact, let's get some creature lore around here. Yeah, Amblooms, yeah, simple-minded crawling fungus, funglings, passive fungal balloon, fungoons, fully grown fungal balloon, so the funglings and the fungoons are connected. Talk about fungoonin. Yeah, spits built up internal gas at aggressors. I imagine with this being an older work that we're looking at here in the Hunter's Journal, it probably spit something more spore adjacent, but here you see it as very clearly some form of concentrated infection. Sporgs. Again, their spores explode, but again with that bright orange radiance infection color, fungified husk, you get the idea. Although this is a quick reference, if it wasn't already obvious, to cordyceps fungus, which, in real life, cordyceps is a real fungus, it's not just from The Last of Us, that infects bugs, usually ants, but I've heard tell of it affecting caterpillars and spiders. But it's a type of fungus that literally zombifies a living thing, an insect, some kind of arthropod, and then puppets its body in order to get it into a place where it can take root and grow. It is genuinely upsetting to look at and experience, and I fully see why the folks who made Last of Us kind of latched onto that as a scary concept for a zombie apocalypse type thing. But here we see it in... I'm going to say in a cuter way, even if it is a little unsettling with those eyes. Shroomlings, young fungal creature, spends most of its time on the ground, but can uproot and flee if it senses danger. And the Shroom Warrior. I want a tattoo of this guy. Fungal creature that attacks intruders to protect its young. So yeah, again, showing that we are an entirely morally neutral being. We do not care about fighting protective parents who are just trying to save their homes when an intruder walks in with a sword. The vessel has no sense of morality. Apparently I still don't know how to fight these things. You almost got it, bud. No, I'll wait for you. You got it. You got it. You got this. Alright. Okay, cool. We can open up our shortcut back here. Oh yeah, there's that huge tower up at the Forgotten Crossroads. So yeah, where we want to be going for this area is down, specifically. But we can stick our heads up here for a bit. I really like it. It's that sort of like Dragon Ball Z, I wonder what rock they're going to destroy next, like very obviously painted into the environment enemy with eyes. But here we get another low lore mini-boss fight with the Shroomel Ogres. Keep doing you guys. So notice from the sound design there and from the visual effects, we cannot bounce directly on their heads. And as a seasoned Shovel Knight enjoyer, it's a major issue for me. There, got him. Did that not do any damage? Why do you call it a ranged attack if it doesn't have any range? Alright. Oh, cool. We got a Charm Notch. I forgot you get that from these guys. But yeah, again, we can check the lore, but it is what it is. It's what you'd expect. It's huge fungal creature, attacks by spitting corrosive venom and slamming its body into foes. Yeah, exactly what we saw. I do like the little bit of folkloric flair calling it an ogre. I just like when like movies and games and stuff just show that, like, give a very folkloric name to something, like calling any demon a devil, like in Chainsaw Man, or I guess in the Japanese translation, like Akuma has its own meaning. But just, it's like, yeah, no, that's an ogre, I get it. I see the visual language. Alright, some dead bugs showing us that there's another friendly face nearby. Leg Eater! Hey, buddy! Don't try to sneak past me. I can smell you. Great. Do you collect a lot of Geo? Give me Geo and you can see something nice. I'll pay to see something nice. Love the incredible vagaries coming from this guy. Let me show you then. Take a look. Do you want them? If you really, really want them, I'll trade them for more Geo. More Geo. Yeah, so Leg Eater sells us fragile charms. These are charms with really good benefits, but I believe either... I don't think it's if we get hit or if we die. I don't remember off the top of my head. That they will break and no longer work. Yeah, this gives us more health. I think it's if we die. This gives us more Geo, which is super, super important for anything you need to, like, money sink or, like, grind for later on. Which I'll probably do off-screen. And Fragile Strength, just really good. You're weak, aren't you? Hey. You should give me Geo. This is, like, every single, like... What are they, like, the like, Manosphere motivational YouTuber type guys? Like, you're weak, you're not strong enough, give me money. Yeah, Leggy Deer is a weird little dude with not a ton of lore to him. He's just kind of here. I really like his silhouette here on his little page. No, I actually don't want that. But yeah, he's just a little blind mantis guy. He doesn't look like the other mantis villagers, I'll tell you that. We'll meet them soon. But yeah, not much to say. Just a weird guy who takes your money who's surrounded by corpses in the middle of nowhere. Welcome to Hollow Knight. That's kind of most guys you'll meet in this game. Actually, a lot of the folks in this game are really nice. In fact, we're not too far from meeting Cloth, who I'm a big fan of. Let's see if we can just connect back to the Forgotten Crossroads. I don't think there's anything there that I need, per se. Or anywhere we can get to that's new, but... it'd be nice to just fill out the map. We need a nail upgrade. It's really... you're starting to feel it here. And these little enemies, just... you really need to wail on them. Can't go this way yet. Gotta go through the perfume department. Oh god. Bonked my silly little head. Get out of here. There we go. Where does this put us out exactly? Wait, can we? Yeah, we can. Cool. I don't want to have to get all the way turned around. It used to be a... oh, I know where I am. Alright. Ow. Aspids. Yeah, we're near the hot springs. Yeah, nothing new around here, but good to know. Yeah, just wanted to pop my head up here. Let's strike our way back down. Because where we're trying to get is the Mantis Village, which is in the opposite direction. You barely notice it, but the shift in music really does a lot to change the vibes between areas. Can I go through here? No, I can't. That's the thing, when I go quiet like this, not only is there not really any lore to say about a bunch of mushrooms, but I'm trying to avoid doing that for one thing. But also I'm just, like, reaming through all the different, like, okay, where do I go to get this, meet this person, talk about this lore, okay. Because I have my notes that are laid out in the way that I practiced the game, but it's kind of impossible to, like, figure out where, like, to have a perfectly scripted path, I would need to really have much clearer notes and a much better memory. All I know right now is that we're trying to go down. But yeah, you'll notice, like, the Mushroom Tribe, they're not possessed of any architecture, really. They're not even like when we saw in Greenpath, there were those sort of druidic standing stones and whatnot. That guy's running into literally nothing. Oh, can't go here yet. I believe this leads us into the City of Tears, though. Spoiler. So close. But yeah, the Mushroom Tribe, they, like, are entirely in tune with their environment. They are their environment. Alright, that's enough out of you. Thank you. Yeah, like, even, like, the ground we're on, you can tell hasn't been cultivated. It's just sort of naturally formed into convenient little platform. That was cheap. These little platforms for us. I believe if I want to get where I'm going, I need to go left. And also, we get to meet a friend. Yeah! It's Cloth. Hey, Cloth. Aha! The tiny steps of a tiny creature. You got the look of an adventurer, so we've much in common. Searching for dangerous places, I? Well, you're on the right track. A long-necked critter warned me of a tribe deeper down. Warrior sorts, so she says, and I'm itching for some serious combat. This is Cloth. We love Cloth. Cloth is our best friend. She is a fantastic little Dark Souls reference and a Kickstarter backer character. A lot of this game was funded on Kickstarter, and Cloth was one of the, I don't remember which tier, obviously, off the top of my head, but she is one of the characters that a certain tier of Kickstarter backer was able to submit. So you can tell her design is a little different from the other bugs we see around here. She's a little more dressed. She has that Havel the Rock-looking dragon fang, which we saw carried around in the Forgotten Crossroads. I believe this might just be me spitballing. I don't have a source off the top of my head. Source, dude, trust me. That she's a cicada, specifically. And we'll hear her get real loud later. But yeah, she's got a little Soulsy style side quest, which just involves running into her in various places and listening to her be varying levels of miserable. But Cloth, she's just a sweet presence. I really enjoy, like, I feel like to a certain degree there was this thing of like, oh, we got this Kickstarter character, we gotta, introduce it somewhere. But honestly for me, I feel that being like, hey, here's just a friendly person who's just kind of here that you run into, kind of like you would with Quirrell. It doesn't have a ton to do with the story. She's just doing her own thing as like another adventurer and warrior in this world. I think it adds a lot of depth. Just this bag-headed weirdo that we love so dearly. Keep sharp, my adventurous friend. Stay alive and let's meet again on the road ahead. Anything else? Nah. Yeah, it's just kind of a friendly face, you see. I always appreciate that in big, lonely games like this. Where are we now? Yeah, we're going the right way. The sound design on these bouncy mushrooms is something I'll, like, never get tired of. That thump sound. It's perfect. And the little purple particle effects, like, it's so pretty. Ooh, also stressful. Alright. Hey. What was the point of that? We're not somewhere different. It just, okay, it took us in a little circle. Was there something down there that I missed? No? Nope, just did that for no reason. Okay. Someone's gonna yell at me in the comments on YouTube. Which, by the way, on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, hello. Yeah, I was, honestly, for a first video with someone with zero social media presence, I was honestly kind of impressed with my first VOD. It's at, like, sitting around 24, 25 views. I'm sure a lot of those are me, but just checking on it. But it's nice. I'm glad people are ducking their heads in. Ow. No comments or anything yet, but I'd love to hear feedback, questions, even some mean comments to laugh at. I'll be happy for those. But at the same time, I'm trying very hard not to, get caught up in it. This is a thing I'm doing for me and, like, my friends to check out on right now. I don't have any, like, delusions of grandeur. I'm gonna be some, LA mansion Twitch streamer. I'm a guy talking about lore in his bedroom. But I like my concept. I love talking about lore. I love these. When I come back. All right, we're not gonna go this way yet because we can actually get stuck in. Yeah, this is the way we need to go. But yeah, I just love, I think I said this last stream, I love spending time in these worlds, being as immersed as I can be, and taking on this I guess, sort of field researcher kind of role. It's cool. It's not cool, it's deeply lame, but it's lame in a way that I really appreciate. Normalize and appreciate lameness, I say. Because, while we're here not looking at any particular lore, there were a lot of things that I, throughout my life, just didn't do because they were, like, cringe, Oh, although we see a little bit of Mantis architecture here. These lights are entirely different from Hallownest street lights, but still using Lumaflies. But, I really, my entire life, I've had this urge to just communicate and talk about at long length the things I enjoy. And, ow. And, sitting here, like, in my room alone, talking about this fake world full of fake bugs, doing silly little character voices, I think a younger me, not even 4 or 5 years ago, would have said that I'm being cringe. And you know what? I am being cringe. I may be cringe, but I am free. Because so far, just, a stream and a quarter in, over a stream and a half, or it's already 8:15. I feel, very free, very excited to talk about this stuff. Let's get to this grub. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. Yeah. Love that guy. Yeah. And anyone watching now on YouTube, I'm glad you joined me. This is such a pleasurable, chill way to spend a Wednesday evening when I normally wouldn't have anything else going on. Takes me back through here. All right. Well, here again we see a little bit of mantis architecture. I believe, yeah, this just opens up a shortcut to the beginning. Yeah, all right. Stream still looks good. Nobody in the chat. And we head this way. Oh, here's another surefire sign of the Mantis tribe. Masks, which, if you hadn't noticed, a lot of the more sapient bugs around here are wearing masks. Masks are a huge visual theme in this game. And seeing masks skewered like that, a keep out sign is a sign of these guys. Yeah, that was our first Mantis. Mantis Warrior. Really cool character art for this guy. Member of a proud tribe, fiercely protective of its territory. Launches savage attacks with bladed forelimbs. So yeah, the Mantis tribe. Let's talk about them. First of all, badass. Cool as hell. But the Mantises are rather unique among, well, not entirely unique, I guess, among the peoples of Hallownest in that they were one of the first and foremost objectors to the Pale King. They, by the sound of it, from what we hear in the lore, waged a long and bloody conflict against the forces of Hallownest, and eventually won. And what we're seeing here, notice you don't see any of the infection coming off of them. The Mantis tribe rejected the Pale King, rejected his prescience, even when the mushroom people around them decided, ooh, God, that they would bend the knee, as it were. Let me put on that charm when I get to a bench. I have a notch for it now. As we see here, the Mantises, not only did they fight off the Pale King and his many, many forces. I mean, we saw one of the Great Knights. They were not to be messed with. But were able to stave off the infection as well, which I think is really interesting. And there's some indication in the game, and I'll confirm more on this later, that it might be a strength of mind that is keeping them safe, like the fact that they're so honed and so disciplined that the infection doesn't get to them, when very obviously it's spreading everywhere. And for example, you see that there are characters we meet who are kind of halfway under the infection, like Sly, who are starting to lose themselves. And one thing that I know for almost a fact, I'm not 100% sure. Sip of water, gotta stay hydrated. Is that the Radiance makes itself known through dreams. And I don't know if that implies that the Mantis tribe simply just doesn't dream, or if something about their minds is just so disciplined that they can keep the infection at bay. It's a really interesting, just kind of side bit of lore. But here, we have a little lore tablet. Notice the entirely different language. This is less logographic, more representational. I wouldn't even know which way to read this. Similar to the language of Hallownest, but not the exact same. Very friendly. Wanderers seeking death, welcome. May you find swift end upon our claws. Hopefully it wouldn't stutter. Yeah, the Mantis tribe, because of their interaction with the Pale King, probably kind of self-fulfilling around that, are not the most welcoming sort. Even their nymphs, their youngest ones, are, first of all, again, not infected, though presumably less sapient than their cohorts, but also are extremely dangerous. The Mantises begin their lives being able to fly and having a distinct stinger. To my knowledge, again, if Any bug nerds in the comments can correct me. I do not believe that is a feature of mantises in the wild. I'm just going to face tank this. Yeah, a big running thing with the mantis tribe is pride. They are known for being proud. We'll see that word come up with them a lot. Their charm is referred to as the mark of pride. And, I mean, hell, maybe it's their pride that, oh god, oh, excuse me, that kept the infection at bay. Because this isn't, like I said, it's not like a normal, like, I'm getting sick infection. It's the radiance. It's this higher being that's sort of acting in the background. So it doesn't necessarily respond to, you know, mask up, wash your hands, don't touch your face. But it more responds to feelings, thoughts, dreams. Smacked its head on the ceiling there. Never seen that happen. Alright, excuse me. But yeah, to round out the story on the Mantis tribe as we're getting into their village proper. Oh hey, stag station. Or just a bench, actually. Let's just pop on Thorns of Agony. Nice. Hang on, sorry folks. Cat's being stupid again. I'll be right back. Not putting up the be right back thing. It'll just be a second. Alright, Norm's coming to stream with us because he can't be trusted in the kitchen. So if you hear yelling, that's him. But yeah, the Mantis tribe. So eventually, the Mantises were able to broker a... What's the word? Oh, Rita. Were able to broker a truce with the forces of Hallownest. They basically filed out a concordat that would say... I all of a sudden lost the ability to talk. They filed out a concordat that said that they would be able to stay independent, stay as no longer a piece of Hallownest, but they had to hold off the beasts of Deep Nest, which were becoming a major problem for Hallownest. What is Deep Nest? It's something we'll see in just a minute. Yeah, Norm, you get put in the bad boy room if you're being a bad boy. Yeah, that's what happens. Here... Quick Undertale reference. There he is. I do believe it's been confirmed this is in fact like a Sans Undertale reference, but this just refers to a single character that has an entire statue and a charm about him and is not referenced at any point ever again in the game. This is the Dashmaster. Bears the likeness of an eccentric bug known as the Dashmaster. Just lets you dash more. Which, I do it compulsively anyway, and I don't want you guys to get too tired of the dash noise, so I don't necessarily feel like putting it on. We will save Britta, I promise. We just need to get around to her. But yeah, she is, for those who don't know, another partially infected bug from Dirtmouth. Yeah, the first time I got here, like, the visual language of the mantises is so strongly, like, explained and that they are in fact uninfected, that when I first saw one, I assumed it was just, like, bowing. I was like, oh, how polite, they're cool, and then it immediately rocked my shit into next Sunday. So, yeah, not bowing, just respectful warriors. Not us, though. Sun Tzu, Art of War, do them dirty in front of their dad. Alright. Still haven't found that fungal charm. It's kind of important for those lore tablets. Where are we? I think we're headed the right way. Yep, Mantis Village. Here we are. Something I want to check on. Does the music change when we come in here? Yeah, they can just slightly outpace your dash, chase you down. They're really tough in tight spaces. It's another little world building thing I really, really enjoy while I'm getting my ass beat. Is that, you know, the fact that there's this independent tribe of mantises, again, isn't super important to the story. It's not necessarily a big deal. But, oh, nice parry. Sekiro, alright. But it's just this little bit of, like, flavor in the world that I really, really appreciate. And I think that, you know, now we're in stream 2, I'm kind of thinking about why I love this, why I'm doing this so much and going so hard on it, is what I love about world building is that it's not necessary. You know, you can tell a story with, you know, rudimentary parts, basics, information, here's what's happening, here's who's important, you can go home. I've read Hemingway. But when you're, like, building out a world, there's this urge to just keep adding details, just keep adding little things into it. Oh, hang on. One important thing, though. Oh, thank you. It's the Mantis Claw. This opens up the game so much. I cannot, like, late game, I can't imagine getting around without it. It's so necessary. Even though it's in kind of an out-of-the-way place, it's a Metroidvania, it's asking you to get lost and explore. You'll find it eventually. But again, like I'm saying, like this level of flavor, this place that, again, you know, this whole thing we're talking about with void and radiance and vessels and the Pale King, the mantises don't play a huge role in it. But there's so much love and time put into, like, there's storage rooms where they keep these little hook claws, these decorations and masks and crossed swords. Their culture, their treaty with the Pale King. That's the word I was looking for, treaty. It's so meticulous. It's like looking at a really detailed miniature, which also, I absolutely adore miniatures. I am several different kinds of freak. Oh, another lore tablet. The truce remains, our vigil holds, the beasts are kept at bay. That's in reference to that truce that was between Hallownest and the Mantis tribe. As long as they kept out the beasts in Deep Nest, then they would be allowed to maintain their independence. Which again implies that even as strong as this tribe was, they weren't quite strong enough to hold off Hallownest at its prime. So they had to make concessions. They had to make an offer, essentially. And it's unclear as to whether... Oh, that's convenient. Oh, fantastic. As to whether or not it was the Mantis tribe that made this proposition or the people of Hallownest. I imagine just knowing their environment, it would probably be the Mantis tribe, because they know that they can hold off Deep Nest, and they know that they are kind of at wit's end dealing with the Pale King. Oh, cool. That opens up the rest of our way. But then the question comes, what is Deep Nest? You know that part in, like, really any, like, whimsical children's movie, say you're, like, the one that comes to mind for me is, like, you're watching Anastasia. The lights go kind of dark and maybe a little sickly green, and then a scene happens that scars your young mind for the rest of your life, just because somebody wanted to put that in there. That's Deep Nest. This game, you know, all over is kind of grim. Melancholy is sort of the word of the day here. But yeah, Deep Nest is where things just sort of slip into genuine horror for a bit. And I think, actually, once we get in there, I'm going to drop some content warnings. But yeah, it's the Rasputin scene although it's a great villain song in Anastasia. It's that part in, God, this is such a deep cut reference, but I was watching a video essay on it recently. Did anyone ever see that movie, We're Back, I think it was called? About like big, fun, cartoony dinosaurs that for some reason an eccentric old inventor sent to New York City and like made them kind of like cutesy and monstery. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, extra bonus points on the quiz. But there's a scene in that movie, and like it's lavishly animated. It's very like Don Bluth-esque. Which again, there's a lot of Don Bluth movies that have that one terrifying turn in them. It's mostly, you know, we've been outsmarted. It's like kind of a mostly cutesy experience. It's these big funny dinosaurs. I was a big dinosaur kid. I obviously loved it. But there's a scene where the villain of the movie, who runs a circus built on nightmares, don't worry about it. A man with a screw for an eye who runs a circus built on nightmares, who is the evil twin brother of the kindly inventor who brought the dinosaurs to the present, sort of like reverts them to like scary, realistic dinosaur form. And it's a scene, again, in a very lavishly animated movie, of these like gnashing, snarling, anatomical dinosaurs in this cute, I think, mid to late 80s kids movie. After which point, if I remember correctly, they turn the fear back around on the Nightmare Circus Screw-Eye Man, and he's summarily ripped apart by his own deal with the devil, ? And his eye is carried away by crows. So that scene, that's Deep Nest, to make a long tangent short. See, now I'm on this thing of really weird, messed up scenes in kids' movies. Watch anything by Don Bluth. It's always so strange. But yeah, like, Hallownest I wouldn't call like cutesy by any terms, but it is charming and whimsical. And one thing I think it does very well is just, yeah, I can't go this way, lean into being extremely dark in place to place, and just, again, you know, sort of going against what I'm doing here, just not explaining itself. Every now and again you'll be in an area, or it'll throw something at you that's just like, hey, you want to elaborate on that? No. Oh yeah, we have to go through here. Okay. That takes us back to the top, though. What am I doing here? Mantis Claw is such a godsend. I love this thing. Also, anyone in the comments, let me know if you, 1, can hear my keystroke sounds, and 2, are distracted by them. I am working on some solutions to fix it, but if it's not like on my front burner right now, if it ends up being a major problem for a lot of people, I'll hop on it a little bit more effectively. But yeah, to the Mantis Village. I've explained most of what needs to go down here until we get to the boss, which, what time is it? We got a whole half hour, so we'll probably be able to take care of the boss of this area pretty easily. Which is entirely optional, by the way. Like, we've already got the item we need to progress. But it's fun and cool, and there's good lore. But yeah, I've explained, like, most of... Oh, there they are, actually. Most of what we need to get the context for this area. There's not a ton of deep lore, like, beyond the Mantis tribe's truce. Make sure we got all our doors opened up. But yeah, some things I want to point out again with the architecture. It's simple, but obviously really complex. We see, you know, they got levers, much like you see around Hallownest, just with a different, more naturally built design. They've got this unusual masonry. I don't know what I could say it's made of, but you can see little mushrooms can grow out of it, but it's obviously resistant to the encroachment of all these mushrooms around it. Get away from me. Let's see a little more on these guys. As it grows, it loses the ability to fly. Passage into adulthood is often celebrated, but as time goes by, we realize what we have lost. I need 10 more warriors before I know anything else there. There's a really interesting wistfulness to the Hunter's Journal sometimes. This kind of reflective thing. Oh, alright, here are the Mantis Lords. And again, unlike the infected denizens of the rest of this world, they're reasonable. They wait for a challenge. These three are three sisters, if I'm not mistaken, who are the matriarchs to the Mantis tribe, and presumably have been for a while. Notice they have that sort of mandible headdress thing that you see as an ongoing motif in the character designs in this game, showing power, strength in battle. That shape tends to mean like strong enemy, or important enemy more so. I love their designs. They're so simple but so effective. But also notice there is a fourth throne. This plinth here has been destroyed. There was, in fact, at one point a fourth Mantis Lord. A male one, if I'm not mistaken. And if you know anything about real mantises in real life, it is a real matriarchal situation with them. Females often eat the heads of their mates after they're done mating. But, what do you say, instead of rambling like usual... Can we go this way? No. Love their voice acting, as usual. Let's issue a challenge. Alright. I might lose, actually. This can get kind of overwhelming, and I'm kind of tired. So the pattern's pretty easy on the first one. Just need to be patient. Time your strikes. But yeah, they really only do a little handful of moves. Oh, okay, I'm kind of messing up now. I'm getting impatient is what I'm getting. I'm getting... really just getting my ass beat, okay. Okay, gotta lock in. This is not a hard boss fight, I swear. Especially this version. Nope, don't. Okay, that's kind of embarrassing, I'll admit. Yeah, no, the Mantis Lords are not a difficult boss fight by any means, but if you are not paying attention, they can get you. Just insult to injury, thanks for that. It was hot in here, they cheated, I wasn't paying attention, I wasn't ready, I dodged it. Cope, seethe, cope. I would like to get my nail upgraded soon, but I need to take the whole area transition bridge to get there. Oh, hey. Hello again. I suppose you've already met with the tribe of this village, hmm? They seem a little distrustful of strangers, to put it lightly. They're not brutes, though, no. The sickness in the air that clouds the mind of lesser beasts, they resist it. They retain their intellect and their honor, although also their lethal traditions. I have some words of advice, my friend. If you plan to challenge the lords of this tribe, your blunted nail may prove inadequate. There is a city nearby, the old capital of Hallownest. I've heard a nailsmith resides there. Seek the old bug, and you may find progress that much easier. I might, actually, just to make this get a little smoother. Or do I want to be like a pro gamer, though? My own route takes me towards that great city. If you search out the nailsmith, it may not be long until our paths crossed again. This is another reason I wish I had a full chat here. So that I could ask, see what people preferred. But for now, I'm just going to go with my gut and give it another swing. Oh, Jesus. Not ideal, not ideal, not ideal. Oh, God. Really choking here. No, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Okay, just face tank through that. It's fine. I meant to do that. Yeah, that is the thing. I've been warned before starting this that it's more difficult than you expect to talk and game at the same time. But honestly, not as hard as I'd been told. Like, I sort of enter like a ramble mode where my hands can kind of do their own thing. But sometimes it gets you. Alright, let's do this. Come on. Okay, entirely worthless. How did I get hit by that? My incredible skill. Just gonna walk in, get in the zone, keep landing hits. Don't get greedy. Stay patient. Oh, God. The upgraded nail makes a huge difference in this fight. I'm really telling from this. Come here. Come on. Yeah, I'm gonna go upgrade the nail. We only got about 20 minutes left. See, that's the thing, on repeated attempts you start to get hasty, which is no good for anyone. Come on. So right now, yeah, I'm obviously hasty. Ah, you know what? There's not much lore to be had anyway. Let's just go get that nail. Go scoop up my soul first real quick, then... Actually, I forget soul actually has a real meaning in this game. Go get my ghost, twin, I don't know what that thing is. My shade. Go grab my shade and then go. One little thing about the Mantis Tribe village though while we're here. Not only, it's a good, I guess the term would be ludonarrative, or I don't know if it's narrative per se, but a good wedding between mechanics and world building is that the village is very obviously built for the use of the Mantis Claw. Like, first of all, it's teaching you, but... Come here. Cool. But the fact that, like, yeah, obviously, since you got the Mantis Claw here, the Mantises get around that way. So the village is very vertical with a lot of these straight walls. There we go. Oh. That's my least favorite thing in doing these little, like, side dashes, is just barely snagging the spikes there. I'm not gonna say it feels unfair, but it just feels shocking. Yeah, just up and around. Alright, cool, cool, cool. Let's go. It's going to be a bit of a hike to get back down here, but the game is encouraging us to explore, and I do want to take the game in on its own terms. If I was like a, you know, super pro speedrunner or something like that, I could probably take care of him, but honestly, in a lot of these runs, especially once I start doing larger like RPG type games, I'm gonna make the character OP. I'm gonna use something that doesn't require as much of my attention for fighting and can leave more for for lore dumping. Although this isn't a game that really lore dumps. There's like one big, like, hey, here's what's going on reveal, but even then it's told through gameplay, which I really appreciate. But we're going to be playing some games. Like, I am unfortunately an Elder Scrolls fan, so we're gonna be sitting through some dialogue in the future. Although I plan on doing some Souls-like. I know, can't you tell, because of my incredible skill. But those are another game that just explain themselves pretty well through their world, and a lot through item descriptions, which get used to me reading those. Thinking about doing Bloodborne. It's the one, just the game I know best, and the story I know most clearly. We're almost done, Norm. I'll let you out. You were the one being bad, yeah. I'm being messed with. Yeah, okay. So yeah, here, we almost missed. Here ends the Pilgrim's Way. Hallownest's heart lays open before you. Proceed onward to share in its glory. Again, that very ostentatious, high Hallownest style. Both in... Okay, this thing is somehow getting my goat. I guess that works. That's why we keep the... That's why we keep the Thorns of Agony on, baby. Because I am a fool. I swear sometimes I'm like a savant at this game, and other times I am bashing my head into a wall. I love the little unnecessary addition of all the little rails that come up when you hit those levers. But yeah, something I do want to hone in on there is Pilgrim's Way specifically. That terminology. I don't know if it said it explicitly earlier when we entered Greenpath. Again, that speaks to sort of that theocratic nature for Hallownest. Like, the Pale King was a god king, plain and simple. And so having this pilgrimage that leads you from the crossroads through perilous land, through a long walk that for, you know, a bug that doesn't have, you know, dash or a mantis claw or maybe even not a nail, it's this show of fealty and of respect, which is what the Pale King was all about. And here we actually see a carved rendition of... trying to get the names right. Hegemol, of the Five Great Knights here, as the primary entrance to the city. So again, even though the Five Great Knights worked very closely with the king, they were these icons of Hallownest. I think that might actually fall back down. Yup. Alright. So yeah, it'll be a bit of a slog to get back to the Mantis Village. As a matter of fact, since we have, 13 minutes left, I'm just going to get to the Nailsmith, get upgraded, and then by the time the next stream starts, I'm going to be just at the Mantis Village, so we can hop onto that boss fight. Watch out. Yeah, here we are. We're back to some more of the architecture that we're familiar with from the Forgotten Crossroads. We're seeing those snail shell caravan, like rickshaws, I guess you'd call them. A lot more of the bugs that you'd associate with, again, huge air quotes, more civilized Hallownest, or from the Hallownest perspective. But also we're seeing, let's stop here for just a second, way more detail in our environments. We've got these big gothic arched windows with these complex little, what am I thinking of? Complex panework in them. Again, little motifs, almost looking like the crest that we just used on the statue. But again, everything has these little bits of detail and filigree to them that we didn't even see in the Forgotten Crossroads. Like this sort of, I would say, kind of Victorian spiked rooftop. These can't get in there. The little like claw holders on the Lumify lanterns, and the really complex glass blowing you can see here on the shapes in these lanterns really shows us that we are getting to Hallownest proper, including some guards that actually know how to use a nail. All right. Yeah, I cannot wait to get my nail upgraded. How did I do that? Also, gotta watch out for bellflies. Obnoxious, hate the noise they make, and they deal 2 masks of damage when they hit you. But these guys are actually rather interesting. Again, you get these big glassy eyes on these bugs that really lets you see the color of the infection on them. Can you tell I like Shovel Knight? Let's see if there's any lore on these guys. Husk sentries. This is interesting. Animated remains of a Hallownest sentry still retains some memory of its former task. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier, is that the nature of the infection is... It's not just like a zombie virus, I guess, if I were to be glib about it. Oh, hey. Here's a uplifting message. This is our first sign that something really went down here in the City of Tears. Which, man, I love the ambiance here. If we can just listen while I'm talking. The rain, the music, it's so relaxing. But on top of that, we have the much more chilling, the great gates have been sealed. None shall enter, none shall leave. There was something that happened here. But we do get to run into Quirrell. Let's chill casually on the bench with him. The capital lies before us, my friend. What a somber place it seems, and one that holds the answers to many a mystery. I too have felt the pull of this place, though now I sit before it I find myself hesitant to descend. It is a fear, I wonder. Is it a fear, I wonder, or something else that holds me back? Here we're starting to see Quirrell question himself, think about his memories, and maybe in some way remember this place. The City of Tears. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to shoot you. Just lost my buttons there for a second. The city looks to be built into an enormous cavern, and the rain pours down below from the cracks in the stone above. There must be a lot of water up there somewhere. I suppose if the cave roof stayed strong this long, it should hold for us. Before I leave this kingdom, I'd like to see where all that water comes from. What a sight it must be. As a matter of fact, I can speak to it that there is a large lake just above the City of Tears. And as a matter of fact, the City of Tears was more than likely not its original name. But it's been taken on a name in the, I believe I referred to it in my notes as the Fallen Hallownest era. After the Plague era, after High Hallownest era. What we're in currently is this Stasis Hallownest. I'm kind of trying to make a beeline for the nailsmith because we don't have much time. City of Tears. But yeah, just the very simple piano score here. The sounds of the rain, these really, really intricate, like, I keep using their filigreed, but I think that's the right word. These really intricate metalworks here. They all lend to this, again, it's the word of the day, melancholy of this place. And there's a certain eeriness to this entirely empty, quiet city. Something feels wrong. It's liminal. It's a word I think I brought up last stream. And I have a real fascination with liminal spaces. You know, empty cities, hotel hallways, places that feel out of context. And I think the City of Tears nails that. Nails. It really understands that. But here we have a very unusual piece of architecture. I don't think we see anything quite like this in the game. But it's the nailsmith's hut. And here is the nailsmith. Have you brought me another nail to be honed? Leave it on the ground and return later if you're still breathing. Oh, I thought you were someone else. After a nailsmith, are you? Well, you found one. I'm not much for talk, but if it's a nail that needs repair, you've come to the right bug. Your own nail is in quite a sorry state. It's obviously not one of mine. Still, anything can be refined with enough effort and skill. Even that broken blade. If you'd like, I can reforge your nail. It'll make the blade far more deadly. No, glad we hung on to Urgio. Oh, we have someone trying to hawk their wares in the chat. I don't have any chat rules just yet, but I'm not taking solicitations through the chat. Happy to have you here, though, if you're not a bot. I really like how clear and dictated his voice is. The Arikeru Kari. It's very melodic. There we go. The reforging is complete. I've honed your nail's edge. You'll find it much stronger than it used to be. Head out there and test its strength against your foes. Alright. Let's see. I'm debating going a little further, but I actually think that's a good place to stop for the night. Alright. Again, very low, second stream ever viewership. I would expect it. But happy to see all of you who are watching the YouTube VOD. Be sure to drop a like and leave a comment if you'd like to see more of this. Here on Twitch, I'll be here Wednesdays at 7 to the best of my ability, going 7 to 9. If it goes well, I might open up for another day of the week, but thank you so much. And thank you for watching.